Okay, it says I am live. So hopefully I actually am. We'll see. Sorry, my little sister is... Who says cool beans anymore? My little sister's so old-fashioned. Oh my gosh. So how is everyone today? Let's see who has popped up so far. Got Devin. Hello, Devin. Howdy to you, my friend. Aaliyah. Hello, my friend. Autumn, I'm surprised you're still going, girl. I have to give you so much credit for being able to stay awake as long as you do. But hello. And Alice, you are new, at least to my live streams. Hello, hello. Yes, well, it is the last day of camp, so I feel like everybody is in that same mindset. So I'm going to apologize for 3 things in advance real quick. And first one is my upstairs neighbors are being extremely loud as usual. Number 2, my bird, Jimmy, might be squawking because he hears me talking and he might whine, so I apologize for that. And number 3, my lighting is terrible. I was not expecting it to be a rainy day today. I was expecting to have like a nice thing of sunlight coming through. And so I'm using my reading lamp and my window as my lighting for the day. So that is how today is going to go. So it is the last day of Camp NaNoWriMo, at least of July Camp NaNoWriMo. I think this is the last camp of the year. And I'm wondering how everyone is doing. Have you met your goal? Are you close to your goal? Are you just like, I'm writing it, and if I reach my goal, that's great. If not, then I'm okay with that too. I'm curious what you guys are doing for the day. Aaliyah, hoping for at least 2,000 words. That's a great way to end the month. That's awesome. I have yet to reach 70K on anything I've written. And I think it's because just so much of it has been deleting and adding and deleting and adding and deleting and adding. And so I always fluctuate in between like somewhere between like 60 and 68 is usually as high as I get. But that's awesome. The one that we kept hearing, I heard you mentioning Pirates of the Caribbean, like when you were editing it, and like the sound was coming through, it sounded like you were talking about pirates. So I'm hoping that it's about the Pirates of the Caribbean thing, because I am so excited for that. Oh man, so psyched. Oh, that's okay, Devin. Don't worry about it. Write for fun. This is the first time I've ever done camp. I did real NaNoWriMo. I don't know if you can call it real NaNoWriMo, but I did NaNoWriMo last year, and that was the first time I ever did it. Camp Nano and Nano, I say, are the same amount of stress. So there is absolutely no shame in not doing camp. So, but as long as you get your writing done, I think that's all that matters. Alice, finish your goal already. Yay! Type the end. Yes, that is such an amazing feeling when you finally hit the end and you can type in those 6 letters. Ah, it's great. And Devin succeeded. Awesome. That is so cool, you guys. I have already gotten my goal. I got it a little while ago, as if you guys watch Autumn's channel, she'll say that sometimes. And my problem is I like to dive headfirst into things, and I don't really think before I dive. So I just sort of go for it, and then it happens, and then I'm like, all right, well, now what? You know, like the fish at the end of Finding Nemo who are in the bags and just floating, like, yay, we're in the ocean, but we're not out of the bags. What do we do now? That's kind of like how I am. So I went back. I only took like a couple day break in between when I finished my first draft, and now when I'm editing it, I'm going to try and practice some self-restraint in between drafts 2 and 3. Although draft 2 is feeling a lot more cohesive, I guess, than draft 1. There's a lot more that makes sense. So I guess that's probably the biggest thing I've gotten out of camp, is not so much writing the story or writing for the first draft, but getting to a point where I feel like I am telling, or on my way to telling and elaborating on a more I guess, well thought out story, as opposed to just this happened and then they went here and then they went over here and then he said this. So that's probably the biggest thing I've gotten out of camp, is actually the editing that I've been doing. So camp is, you can do anything in camp, and that's why I love it. I'll definitely have to do this again next year. Alrighty, well, are the humans, meaning you, because apparently I'm not human, are you guys ready for our first sprint? And I'm thinking kind of doing that 10-minute warm-up sprint like we did last time, just to get the ball rolling, to get the gears turning. And then after that, we can go crazy with the numbers. You know what I keep forgetting to do? I keep having the TV on in the background, just kind of as like background noise. And then every time I get on to like do something like this, I forget to turn it off. So I apologize if you heard any of the Great British Baking Show in there, because sorry. Yes, I am wearing my tri-corner hat with a feather. I'm gonna go over to my parents' house and I'm gonna get it. I have to. I have to have that hat. There's no way I'm watching a pirate movie. Like, I had a pirate, actually the reason I think I told you this, Autumn, I had a pirate themed party when I was 7, my 7th birthday. We did pirates, and so everyone had like the sashes and the eye patches and the bandanas and the swords and the hats and everything. We even made like a little ship out of cardboard. Like my mom went and got like a big box of like I don't even know where she got the box. She just showed up with a box one day and we turned it into a pirate ship. And it was because of Pirates of the Caribbean. It was because I was so obsessed with Pirates of the Caribbean as a kid. And it was the movie that we went to and saw in theaters every weekend. Every weekend, 2003, as soon as it hit, as soon as we read the reviews for it, my parents were like, yeah, let's give this a try. Every weekend that it was in theaters, I swear, I'm not kidding, we went back and watched the movie. It was that good. And it was like one of the few movies my family could all agree on that we all thoroughly enjoyed. So I absolutely love Pirates of the Caribbean. I will love it forever. It is my favorite, and I will quote it any day, every day. I actually think I quoted it yesterday when I was talking to my husband. So I do quote it constantly. Yeah, I've definitely, yeah, finding the flow sometimes too can be really tricky. Yeah, but I know when it's like when you get to the first draft and it's just like, ugh, please end so I can go on to better things, meaning draft 2, draft 3, draft 4, anything to get away from this piece of crap draft. I've been there, Aaliyah. I know. Nice. Hey, great minds think alike. I love that. Oh my gosh. That's awesome. And the most surprising thing about that is that the pirate hat that my mom got me for my 7th birthday still fits on my head. I did not get the German head. My family is German, and I did not get the German head. I got the Welsh head, which is much smaller. So, alrighty. Well, everyone is ready. I am going to queue up our first sprint. Oh, there we go. Sorry, the thing wasn't working there for a second. Oh. All right, now it's working. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I mean, technically, it is the final countdown because it's the final countdown of Camp NaNo. Blech. Try saying that 10 times fast. All right. So if you guys are ready, we're going to go ahead and get started. Oops, if I can click on things properly. All right. Happy sprinting, and I'll see you guys in 10 minutes. Buffet. There we go. Hello. So, yeah, okay, I did unmute. All right, how did everybody do? Oh, hello, Christy. Welcome, welcome. It's all right. Don't worry about it. Oh, say hi to Gabe, or I guess hi, Gabe, if he's nearby. Because I know that he likes when people say hello to him. So how did everyone do? Did I already ask that? I probably already asked that. I don't remember. We'll just pretend that I didn't. So I am still working my way up to rewriting, I guess, plot point 1. So there's a lot of inner conflict going on right now. And I'm wondering if I'm doing it too early. I hope I'm not. I don't think I am. But, you know, there's always that little voice of doubt, like, maybe not yet. So, yeah, but so far, I am actually really enjoying Draft 2 way more than I did Draft 1. Like, Draft 1 was just, going back and rereading it, like, I'm like, oh, some of this stuff I'll keep and I'm like using things, but the amount of stuff I've kept versus the amount that I've deleted is like 99.9% deleted and 0.1% kept. Which charged your pen? Is it like a computer pen, kind of like how like the pens for like iPads or Samsungs or Surface Pros? Is it that kind of pen? I'm wondering, how do you charge your pen? I'm curious. This is fancy schmancy technology that I did not know about. I'm not technologically savvy, so. Alice got 377, saying that I need a greater character voice between 2 of my side characters. So like you need to have them just have stronger voices for themselves? Am I reading that right? Hold on. Yeah. That's what I'm interpreting it as. Let me know if I'm wrong, but that's what it sounds like, that you need to give the characters a little bit more, I guess, their own voice. Let me know if I'm wrong about that, though, Alice. And Aaliyah got 30 words. Hey, but you know what? 30 words is still progress. You know, 30 words it's progress. It's you keep taking those steps, and you know, nothing to be ashamed of. Oh, Apple Pencil pen. Okay, so it is one of those fancy schmancy things. I don't know how else to describe it. That's very cool. So do you write? Do you handwrite then, Christy, on your what's it called? On your iPad? That's what an Apple Pencil goes to, right? It's an iPad. Is that normally where you do like writing or just like jot notes or stuff? I'm curious. I have a Surface Pro and I normally use it for like school. So like all my school stuff is on it, and I'll use the pen sometimes if I'm taking notes, not so much for really anything else. Oh, excuse me. Alice says, yeah, they need to sound more different. Yeah, I definitely have had that problem. I'm actually starting to face that problem now because I'm adding 3 new characters. And when I say new, they're actually all part of like the original lore of like the underworld and everything. And so they're the judges basically. So they're the ones who, like, when a soul gets past the gates, like when they're ferried in and they get past the 3-headed dog, the 3 judges are like the ones who decide what part of the underworld you're going to, whether you're going to like the Elysium Fields or the Asphodel Meadows or Tartarus or wherever. They're the ones who decide that, and they're being characters. They're becoming characters in my second draft. And so I'm trying to figure out how to not make them seem like the 3-headed knight from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. and have them be, similar but different, I guess, because I think they are supposed to actually be brothers in the original folklore. But I still want them to not all be the same. So I totally get that. Totally get that. Nice thing about the underworld, though, is that there aren't many other side characters. You've got like maybe 5, and they don't have to be that important. So, anywho. Oh, that's cool, though. Oh, I'm so jealous of people who can paint. I love painting. My older sister is an amazing artist. She never thinks she is, but I'm so jealous of her. Like, she'll send like paintings and stuff to my parents, and I'm so jealous of people who can paint. I can't paint or draw or sketch or any of that, but that's really cool. Yeah. Well, at least you didn't get sick, because what happened to me after NaNoWriMo last year in November is I wrote my stuff in, what's it called? I wrote my thing in 2 weeks, and then as soon as I hit that like finished, goal reached button and yay, I'm a winner, I got sick, and I was sick for like 2 weeks. So my first half of November, I was scrambling and working on this draft, and then my second half of November, I was dead on the couch. So I'm glad you were taking the time to rest, because I should have, and I didn't. So kudos to you, my friend. Procreate. Oh, okay, for digital painting. That's really cool. That's so cool. I love that. Do you draw like landscapes or like portraits, or I guess just anything really? That is very neat, Christy. Oh, I'm so jealous of people who can draw. The only thing I can do is write, and that's questionable. So write and talk in long amounts of time for about movies, sometimes Broadway shows, and that's about it. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Oh man, I could talk about movies forever. Oh no. What's oh no, Christy? Oh no. Oh man. But yeah, no, I just think that is really cool. Like, people who can draw, mostly because it's like I grew up reading a lot of like comic books and watching a lot of cartoon shows, even though my mom tried so hard to get me to not watch cartoon shows. And I have always wanted to do it because I've always loved the idea of the visuals to go with the writing and like storyboarding. I love looking at storyboards, but I just can't draw. So it's like I could write it, but then someone else would have to draw it for me. And it's just, but I love being, just immersed in like comic books and stuff. My husband always says I have too many comic books. And I will admit, I did accidentally buy the same comic book twice because I forgot I owned a copy of it already. That happened one time. But I love comic books. I love cartoon shows. I just love anything, really, like animation, anime, comic books. I'm a very visual person. I like having the visual. Portraits, but I like them with backgrounds. Oh, yeah. Portraits were always hard. Like, my person, like whenever we tried to do self-portraits in school, I always ended up looking like a Salvador Dali, but not like a nice Salvador Dali, more like a, I need to go to the hospital and have facial reconstruction Salvador Dali. That's what mine always looked like. And I'm pretty sure my art teacher at one point told me that I should just not do portraits. But that's really cool. Yes, and I like pretty things too. I do. Don't tell my husband, because he's convinced that I don't. I'm gonna let him live in his denial. That's pretty cool too. I do actually really like your icon, Alice, your profile pic. It is very cool. I actually had a friend at in college who tried to turn everyone in the Japanese class in. Ooh, sorry, I just hit my table. Who tried to turn everybody in the Japanese class into anime characters. And I don't know if I still have the picture that he drew, but it was the first time I've ever seen myself animated, and it was the coolest thing ever. Oh my gosh. Like, I didn't think being animated would be so cool, but it was. So totally do that, Alice, because I would love to see it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was a big, oh no. And then immediately after I got sick, my husband got sick, and he was working like up in Baltimore, Maryland at the time, and he was like not commuting. It was weird because his work sent him to Baltimore for 4 days of the week. So he would drive up there, stay in a hotel, and then come back and have like a 3-day weekend. And he was doing this while he was sick. And my husband also has a history of pneumonia and bronchitis. And he's out in the cold in the morning, driving the hour up to Baltimore, working like 12-hour days, staying in a hotel, driving home. And it was so miserable. And he kept getting sick. And I was like, you got to take a day off, honey. You got to take a day off. And he's like, no, I can't. I have to keep working. You're never going to get better. So my advice to you guys is, if you have a history of pneumonia or bronchitis, or if you just get sick, don't drive the hour or however long it is to Baltimore, or stay up there for 4 days, working 12-hour days each day. Just stay home, relax, have a cup of tea, you know. Don't drive up to Baltimore. Baltimore is gross. Apologies to anybody who's from Baltimore. When he was working up there, he was in a not so pretty part of Baltimore. I don't know if you guys are familiar with like the East Coast or anything, but cities like Baltimore and even DC, there are the really nice parts that people and tourists really like to go to. And then there's like, you know, a block over, it starts to get really bad and you don't want to be in that area. Baltimore is very much like DC in that sense. So I would not recommend going to Baltimore. Sorry. I know Edgar Allan Poe is from there, and the football team is named after his poem, but unless you're going for the aquarium, there's not really much else. There's not really much else in DC either. Go see the White House, go see the monuments, and that's about all you need. I'm not really selling the East Coast over here, am I? Oh, man. No, but the West Coast is definitely more my thing. Arizona specifically. So if you guys are in the States, do you have a state that is your favorite, or one that you like to travel to and will never tire of, no matter how many times you travel to it? Because for me, that is Arizona. I can go to Arizona 5 times a year and I will never get sick of it. I love it. I love the heat. I love the desert. I love the mountains. I love the palm trees. I love the sunshine. Ugh. I love Arizona. And it's probably sunny there now. And it's gray and dismal outside, which is good riding weather. But I am a solar-powered human, and I believe in having sunshine. So, alrighty. So also, if anybody has ideas or a time that they want to do, go ahead and pop it into the comment box. There we go. I almost said comic box. Don't pop it into the comic box, because you know that might not get us anywhere. So my husband's so sick. Really. Yeah. And that's it. That was my husband's problem too, is that because he kept going back and forth so much, he did not get better. Like, he was sick for probably, I think, for maybe not 6 weeks, but it was a long time. And he was, he was just miserable. And luckily he doesn't have to go to Baltimore anymore. He's working much closer to home now. But yeah, it was kind of scary because he has had bronchitis before and pneumonia, and his lungs are still healing. He quit smoking about a year after we started dating, and so his lungs are still in the process of mending themselves. So when he gets sick like that, I get very nervous. So yeah, it was not fun. Oh, nice. Yeah, Arizona, there are no beaches in Arizona, but I was surprisingly okay with that. I was really okay with that. But I do love the beach. I love it very much. Um, but yeah, just the sunshine and like you're never too far from a good hiking spot. I do miss that a lot. So, was it Southern Cal or Northern or in the middle? I'm not sure. I've only been to California once or twice in my life. For as many times as I've been to Arizona, I've only been to California once. Alice has suggested 1324. I do actually kind of like that, the 1324. That's very fun. My last sprint was 10 minutes, so that was kind of like the warm up. Let's get the party going, kind of warm up. But we can do the 1324, and if you guys then want to shout out numbers, something higher for the next sprint after this one, then we can do those, and we will go from there. That's a song from Anastasia, by the way, if you've seen the Broadway musical. I have axes to grind with that musical, but I'm not going to get into it now. Southern California. Awesome. Okay, cool. So you know how hot it gets. You know what the temperatures in the summer are like down there. So that is good. And I actually miss the temperatures in the summer down there. I miss my 118-degree weather. I know it sounds crazy, but I really do. Aaliyah is asking if we can do a longer sprint. I think we're going to do Alice's, but Aaliyah, if there's if you want to do shout out something in between 23 minutes, somewhere in there, we will definitely do that next. And if you want, we can take a shorter break even in between those sprints, because I know you have a goal that, you're trying to reach, at least for maybe not the Camp Nano goal, but a personal goal. So we will do Alice's 1324. So let me get that in. And then Aaliyah, just shout out a number, however long you want it to be, within reason, I guess I should say. Don't shout out like 60, 59 or something. So I don't even know how that would work. No, that would work. Okay, yeah. All right. Gosh, I can't do math. I failed math, you guys. Ooh. There we go. All right, so if everybody is good, perfect. 2, 3, 4, 5. I like it. We will do that one next, Aaliyah. I'll pull in autumn and write that down so I don't forget it. Hold on. It's probably good to write things down, huh? 2, 3, 4, 5. Awesome. All right, so we'll start with Alice's, and then we'll take a break for a couple seconds, and then we'll just jump right into Aaliyah's 2345. So let's go ahead and get started with this one. All righty, so if everybody is all set, we are going to sprint. And I'll see you guys in 1322. Cool. All righty. So we'll just sit for a second. If you guys want to share how you did that sprint, can do it real quick, and then we'll just jump right into Aaliyah's, because I know that she is asking for a bit of a longer sprint. So, and I think that is a good idea. So I'm not actually sure how much I wrote because there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of deleting and crossing out and rearranging. And so it's hard to keep track of the words I've added versus the words I've deleted, especially since I'm so far into this chapter. Yes. Alrighty. So actually, while we wait, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the, what did you say, Aaliyah? It was 2, 3, 4, 5. Awesome. So that is up and that is ready to go whenever you guys are ready. I seriously do apologize for the lighting. I know it's not good. I actually have like studio lights, like not makeshift, but kind of like more cheaper studio lights. So I'm going to have to go grab those from my mom and dad's house at some point because the reading lamp that I'm using is not really working very well. Alice got 470 words, passing 60K from camp. Woo! Very nice, Alice. That's exciting. Oh, 60K is a good number too. Aaliyah got 303 words. That's awesome. That's a band too, isn't it? 303? At least I think it is. Christy says good job to Alice and good job to Aaliyah. Yes, good job to both of y'all. And Christy, I hope your painting is going well, or your digital art. I guess it's still painting, yeah. Well, that is awesome, guys. Excuse me, I think my my tea is coming back to fight my throat a little bit, so. Also, I told you guys I like Star Wars. It's like Star Wars everything over here. My husband is sick of it. I have so many Star Wars Legos. I have Star Wars like ship figures. I have Tsum Tsums. I have bobbleheads. It's bad. It's bad. Although I do have to show you guys this because I'm immensely proud of this. I keep it on my desk because if you guys have seen the sequels, this is Kylo Ren's command shuttle, also known as an Epsilon class shuttle. And the wings go up. And that's so cool. I will never get over how cool this is. This was like 1,000+ pieces. I built it myself. I have never been more proud of myself in my life. That's why I keep it on my desk. But if you guys wanted to know the full extent of my Star Wars obsession, I have Kylo Ren's command shuttle, 1,000 pieces plus, on my desk sitting proudly. And I show it off to everybody. Oh, man. Oh, that's good. I'm glad it's soothing. But the little painting that I do sometimes, which is not very good, it is very soothing. So that is good. But if you guys are ready, we'll go ahead and jump into Aaliyah's number and do the 2, 3, 4, 5 because that's fun. So if you guys are all set, let me see if I can get my ducks in a row first. Who says that anymore? I guess me and my little sister are just a little too old-fashioned. All right, so if you guys are ready, let me go ahead and get this full-sized, and we'll go ahead and begin sprinting. So good luck, and I'll see you guys in 23 minutes and 42 seconds. Yay. Oh, all right, let me scoot a little bit closer. Here we go. We'll give full warning. The bird was squawking during that, so if he starts squawking, I do really apologize. He's very noisy. He's not trainable like a dog. So when he squawks, when he gets an attitude, it's very hard to get him to stop. So, reasons why I want a dog. So, how did y'all do? I am almost done with this chapter. I'm getting to the first major plot point. So, I'm very excited. I think I could probably finish. I know I can finish. So, how did you guys do? I'm curious to know. I'm getting hockey notifications. I don't know if you guys saw, but my chair, or I guess my husband's chair, I'm borrowing my husband's chair because he has the nice desk chair. This is a Washington Capitals blanket because I love the Caps and this blanket is extremely soft, and hockey is finally back. Well, I mean, it's like games to see. I think it's like preliminary games, or I don't actually know what's going on right now. I just know that hockey's back, and we played Carolina the other night and appropriately whooped their butts. So I'm very thrilled about that. I'm still riding that high from 2018 when we won the Stanley Cup. So first time in franchise history. I love hockey. Love hockey. Love it more than American football. I know, right? My parents would be so disappointed. So I was born in a football family. You know, Saturday, Sunday, Monday night football. Those were traditions in our house. We always have football on come football season, especially college football. And my parents are so disappointed that, or I guess I can say both. My dad is disappointed that I don't like football. I like hockey. I love hockey. I guess I'm not a true American. Aaliyah, 306 words and almost at 69,000? What? That's awesome. That is so cool. Oh, Aaliyah, I'm so happy for you. That is so cool. Maybe we'll help you get that last little bit to 70K. Because I think we're going to do a couple more. Oh, thank you, Christy. Yes, and good job to Aaliyah. Oh, I skipped something. Hold on a second. No words. Started drawing cover design. Oh, that's so cool. I was playing around with what's it called? Canva, which is what I use to make like my thumbnails on YouTube and a couple like my Instagram posts, like for things like this. And they have a book cover template thing. And so I was just playing around on that because, you know, I can't draw. But yeah, that's really cool. Huh. Would you be interested in drawing a cover for me in about my year or so, Alice? Because, like I said, I can't draw. But that's awesome. Yeah, it's more fun to watch. It's more active, I feel like. And the thing that annoys the living bejesus out of me when it comes to football, like American football, is why is it called football? We use our feet 3 times for kickoffs, field goals, and punts. Like that's it. We don't use our feet other than that. So why is it called football? You know, in Europe it makes sense because soccer is football. They use their feet. Why is American football called football? I don't get it. Yes, okay, I'm so glad I am not the only one who is not a huge fan of football. I mean, obviously, because I'm American and I grew up with my parents, I am Sooner born and Sooner bred, which means that the Oklahoma Sooners are the only team that I will ever cheer for, and the only rival that I will ever a rival game that I will ever watch is the Texas Longhorns versus the Oklahoma Sooners, because Sooner born, Sooner bred, and when I die, I'm sooner dead. But that's about the extent of my love of football, is watching the Oklahoma Sooners, and that's just because that's how I was raised. But other than that, I don't like watching football. Like, if the Sooners are playing, I'll watch it. If they're not, forget it. Hockey, I don't care who's playing. I'll just watch hockey. It doesn't have to be the Caps. It could be anybody. It could be the Coyotes. It could be the Kings. It could be the Sharks. Not the Penguins or the Flyers. But, you know, we're going to stay away from the Penguins. unless, of course, we're beating them to get to the Stanley Cup. So, apologies to everybody who's from Pittsburgh. Yeah, I'm actually going to be on probably not the cleaning part, but I will be making lunch once we wrap this up, and probably have to make lunch for my little sister because she wants to come over again. Aaliyah says thanks. Yeah, right. Or I know there's already a thing called handball. There's already, but it's not like as big. It's like a schoolyard sport almost. Like, people don't actually play handball, so why don't we just call American football handball? Because we use our hands and we run, or run ball. I don't know. Why football? Who looked at soccer and was like, you know what? I like this sport, but we need to change the name of it because I have an idea for a different kind of football. And get this, we only use our feet 3 times. Yeah, they're much smaller than like your average soccer field. I don't know. Like, I used to play ultimate frisbee in high school and a little bit in college. And before you say anything, yes, it's a real sport. But frisbee is played on a soccer field, and it's not like the width of it, it's the length of it. So you can fit 2 what's it called? You can fit 2 I'm sorry. I'm still thinking of hockey. 2 frisbee fields in one soccer field, and because you play the length of the field, not the width of it. And yeah, and football fields, like, I went down to a football field, I think when we went to the University of Oklahoma, and we went to their campus, we got to go on the field, and I was like, people have a hard time running up and down this thing, you know? Because soccer fields, they're longer, so there's more. Oh yeah, and then Canadian football. I actually don't know the difference between American football and Canadian football. My older sister does. My older sister knows everything about football. She's like the prodigy child in my dad's eyes, because she's like super smart and is doing all this medical stuff, and also likes football and is extremely knowledgeable. But I don't actually know that much about Canadian football. I know a lot about hockey. And curling? Is curling Canadian? Or is that... Where did curling get started? If you guys ever watched the Olympics, like the Winter Olympics, watch curling, not for the sport, but for the Norwegian team's pants. I don't know if you guys have ever seen these pants before, but they are hysterical, and they're different almost every game. And so it's really fun to watch curling to see what the Norwegian team is wearing. They're fantastic. I highly recommend watching curling just for the Norwegian team's pants. So it's a weird thing to promote, but it's very funny. Yeah, I think American football that's kind of our only sports claim, really. I'm trying to... baseball, I guess. Yeah, baseball. We've got baseball. Did we come up with basketball? I don't think we came up with basketball. I think shooting things in hoops was something that was happening a long time before Americans like claimed to it. But soccer, that wasn't American. That's way more European. Okay, so it is a Canadian thing. Okay. I mean, I think it's interesting. I mean, it's, when I was a kid, I would kind of like make fun of it because I was like, they're just sweeping a broom, but there's actually like logic to it, And so that's where I think it's kind of interesting how that plays into it. Furiously sweeps the ice. Who needs a Zamboni? The only time I really talk about sports with American are hockey. Yeah, we did not come up with hockey. Who's saying what American is saying we came up with hockey? Everyone knows it's a Canadian sport. What? That was a gift from Canada, but it's from Canada. That's not American. Who is saying that? Because that ain't true. And basketball is also Canadian. So I'm so sorry. We took all these sports from you guys. I'm so sorry. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'd imagine there's actually a lot more, like physical exercise to it than what it looks like, between trying to not slip on the ice and sweeping or shooting is it shooting the rock? How would you describe that? Pushing the rock? I feel like there's a lot more to it that people sort of take for granted and ignore. Mayans played ultimate basketball. Yes, actually, I learned about that I took a Native American history class in college, and my professor went to one of the Mayan sites, and they had, like, still remaining at this site, they had, like, the hoops, basically. And they weren't, like, going this way. They were vertical, and then the hole was in the middle, and so they would shoot it and it'd have to go through the thing, but they would literally be like life or death games. It was nuts. And then when we went to Oklahoma, we went to Tahlequah, which is the capital of the western band of the Cherokee Nation, and we played lacrosse. They had a lacrosse game there. I mean, it was not like the lacrosse we know now, but I guess lacrosse is American-ish, Native American, so North and South America are in there. But yeah, it is really cool to kind of go back and look at the history and the games that they played, thousands of years ago, we're still playing today, just different versions of it. But yeah, that was the coolest thing when we went to Tahlequah was, that and shooting the blow dart. That was pretty cool too. But can't believe my parents let us do that. But it was really cool. It was really cool to see. Plus, my family on my dad's side were descended from we are of Cherokee descent, and so we are very fascinated with just Native Americans in general, and we're actually members of the Western Band, so the ones from Oklahoma, and and so we went there just to kind of get like an idea of really how our ancestors would have, like what they would have done in their spare time, and turns out they would have played lacrosse and like a different version of hacky sack. Actually, that was pretty cool too. Started before the NFL. Yeah, us Americans always trying to lay claim to things. Oh goodness, we're a mess sometimes, aren't we? It's called throwing the rock. Okay, yeah. I do think curling is a very deceitful sport. Like it looks easy, and then there's more to it. So when you actually are like, I got this, it's like, actually, you don't. So, Oh, I know, Christy. I love history too. I absolutely love it. I grew up in a house with a father who literally owns a library. My parents' house is a library. You want anything about American history, European history, World War II, World War I, the Cold War. If you have any questions, you walk into that house and you go, Dad, I have a question about this, and I need you to look up this. Do you have a book? And he'll go and he'll find a book with the answer to your question. And he used to take us to like Civil War battlefields because, you know, we live in Virginia and we're pretty close to a lot of battlefields. Like we've got like Manassas and Bull Run and Antietam, and, you know, we're not too far from Gettysburg. So there's all these Civil War battlefields that we go to. We're also not that far from Williamsburg or Yorktown or Jamestown. Like all these like historical sites are near us. And my dad will give you a play-by-play, like a football play-by-play of the battle that took place there. He will run you through everything, every important moment that happened in a battle. And as a kid, it's extremely boring. As an adult, it's kind of cool. You know? And yeah, but I really do appreciate history because of my dad, and I love history because of that. So thank you, Dad, and also, dang it, Dad. Yeah, and that it was a cool thing that I also learned in my Native American history class is that the games that different tribes would play were almost universal. Like almost every tribe had a version of the same game. And you know, stretching from the tip of North America to the furthermost tip of South America, you know, and that was really, really cool. You know, it was, everybody had like a version of the same game. It was a very interesting class. My professor was like the absolute sweetest. He reminded me of my grandpa. He would walk in every day. He was like 70, 80, somewhere in there. He'd walk in every day. He'd have a mug and a can of Dr. Pepper. He was from Texas. I don't know if I said that. But it wasn't like the Dr. Pepper that you get in the store. This was like what I call real Dr. Pepper, which is Dr. Pepper that's made with real sugar, which is a drink you can really only get the closer you get to Texas. And he would come in, he'd have a bag of candy. He'd put the bag of candy on the first person's desk. We'd pass it around and everyone would take a piece of candy. And then he would sit down, get his mug, open his Dr. Pepper, pour his Dr. Pepper into the mug, proceed to sip Dr. Pepper from mug as he began his lecture on legal notepad paper that looked like it was from the 80s. Crinkly and yellow and ancient looking. And he was just the funniest guy. He didn't use the computer. He brought in his own little slot picture projection thing. I don't know if you guys have ever seen like the wheels with the picture projections where you actually have to put the slide in the thing and it's like a wheel that turns. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that before. But he would bring that in when he was trying to show us what these places looked like because he didn't use the computer. And he was so good at teaching this class. Like it was very unbiased. It was very, you know, it was very much like a telling you how it is class. And he was funny, but he could also be like no nonsense. He was really one of the best professors I've ever had. If you guys were in Virginia and still or whatever, I seriously would. If he's still teaching that class, I would recommend just taking that class because he is a character. He's so great. He was so funny. I still wonder where he got the Dr. Pepper from because I need the real Dr. Pepper. Oh, see, yeah, my dad, he rubbed off on all of us. So me and my sisters, we all love history because of my father. We're all bookworms too because of my father. So, although my dad likes to read nonfiction, the fiction, I don't know where that came from. I think that came from my mom, but yeah, no, my sisters and I, we all take after our dad when it comes to the history. Yeah, it is really cool getting the play-by-play. You had to do it in gym class? Oh, that's so cool, actually. You know, oh my gosh, in my school, actually in like all schools in my area, I don't know if you guys ever played dodgeball. I mean, it's a classic gym game, right? It would be hard to believe if you have never played dodgeball. But they took dodgeball out of the like list of games that you could play because they said it promotes bullying. And I'm like, okay, on the one hand, I kind of get where you're coming from. On the other hand, the whole point of the game is to pummel people with foam balls. Like, at some point, someone's got to get ganged up on. That's just the nature of dodgeball. I don't know. I thought it was weird. None of us, absolutely none of us at the school listened to it. Even our teachers were like, yeah, we're still going to play dodgeball. But Northern Virginia is very... I'm trying to think of the nicest way to say this. Sissies? I want to say we're sissies. So basically, the kids who are in school will complain to their parents, and then their parents will complain to the teachers or the principal, and then they'll just cave immediately. And it, like, the kids in this area are so spoiled. It drives me crazy. But yeah, my school was like, no, we were the hippie school technically. So when everyone else was like taking dodgeball out of their, gym games, my school was like, all right, guys, we're playing dodgeball. Have fun. Also, teaches you how to do the Neo thing from the Matrix. So yes, it did. It built character. It made you stronger as a human because when you finally got that one person you've been going after, just so good. All in good fun, though, of course. That is so cool that you guys did that in gym class. That really is very cool. Yeah, probably at this point. I remember it being a big deal when, at least where I lived, when it was first happening, because we were the school that got in trouble for everything. The superintendent hated us and would have loved nothing more than to shut us down. So we constantly did things kind of just out of spite for the superintendent. So, even the teachers too. It was kind of weird. I don't know why the superintendent hated us so much. But there you go. We kept dodgeball thanks to that guy. Dodgeball with 4 teams and no lines we couldn't cross. Oh, that's interesting. Because we always played it kind of the traditional way where it was like half of the gym is one team, half of the gym is the other, and you couldn't cross the line. You had to just, I hope you had a good throwing arm so you could hit that person who's hiding way in the back. So we also found a loophole through Dr. Dodge. I don't know if you guys have ever played that version of dodgeball, but that one is fun because it's a loophole and the superintendent can't get mad at you if there's a doctor running around and healing the people who got hit with dodgeball. My school is interesting. This was also the school where you could run around barefoot. No shoes, no socks. You could totally run around barefoot. No one cared. You could go everywhere barefoot. It was a pretty laid back school. We could sit on our, most of our teachers had couches in their classrooms. We could sit on the couch during class. We could sit on top of our desks. We could sit on the windowsill. We could kind of do, as long as we were paying attention, we could kind of do whatever we wanted. And it was just kind of, yeah, we were a weird school. We were a very weird school. Hunger Games dodgeball. Everyone. Oh, that's interesting. Aaliyah, I can guarantee you no one would have wanted to make an alliance with me in dodgeball. I was a terrible thrower. Yes, Dr. Dodge was really fun and a good loophole. That does sound epic. The Hunger Games thing, yeah. I'd probably be the first one to die in Hunger Games, but you know, it would be fun for the first few minutes. We never mixed the two. We did play Capture the Flag a lot though. And I remember that quite a bit, mainly because I went flying through the air once. I collided with a guy who was like 6'3" or something. Like, it was just one of those where it's like, you knew what was going to happen, but you were just, the momentum was not going to stop. And so I just remember, you know, putting my arms in front of my chest, and the next thing you knew, I was flying through the air and landed very hard on my back on the ground. That was Capture the Flag. He, of course, was totally fine. But, you know, and of course the gym teacher was just like, hey, you okay? I was like, yeah. And we got on with the game, got back up and kept playing. That's we didn't really care. Unless it was a serious injury, no one at the school cared. The girls usually made alliances because the boys were with us. Yes, they normally are. Although the nice thing is that a majority of my friends in high school were guys. So actually they would make alliances with, well, some of them would. I know I can think of a few who would turn on me, but I know a couple who would stick by and help me out. Keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. Isn't that how the saying goes? All right, well, do you guys want to do another sprint? We could probably do 2 more kind of shorter sprints if y'all are up for that. I know my little sister she's not nagging me right now, which is nice, but at some point she was. So if you guys want to do like just 2 more shorter sprints, probably sometime between 10 to 15 minutes, and shout out some numbers. Oh, I forgot that was a thing you could do. Yeah, I never figured out how to do that either. I never figured that out. Like, I would see it happen and I try to mimic it and it would just go, huh. Yeah, no, my husband is the same way. Like, I mean, I cannot gush enough about my husband because he really is like one of the most amazing people on the planet. And he's wonderful, but oh my gosh, he's good at everything. Like, it's not fair. Like, A, he's good looking. B, he knows how to fix everything. He knows like everything. He's like a walking encyclopedia of random knowledge you didn't know you needed. And he's good at sports. He hates sports and he's good at them. All of them. It's like, boy, how are you this good? I love my husband. Pizza, yes. Awesome. Well, I'm doing 2 more, so you might have time. Watch your nose, Karen. Sprint, not spring. It's okay. I knew what you meant. I knew you meant sprint. Although spring would be nice. We didn't get spring this year. We got about a week of it, and then it went back to winter, and then it went straight to summer. Welcome to Virginia. Alrighty, so I'm thinking let's do, oh, also, if you guys haven't already, if you could smash that like button for me, that would be greatly appreciated. I know that is helpful for a lot of people, so. Ooh, hold on a second. My mouse is slow to catch up with what my computer's doing. Okay. So let's see if we can think of a number. I'm thinking, You know what? 1449 sounds like a good number to me. Sounds like a year that something happened. I don't know if it is a year that something happened, but we'll pretend like something important happened that year, and that's why it came to my head. When did Robin Hood take place? That was the 1300s or 1200s. When were the Crusades? I don't know. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. So if you guys are ready, I've got 1449 up. And so then we'll do this sprint, and then we'll do one more either around the same time or slightly shorter, and then we will be all done. And $9.99. Alice, I'm not sure how that's going to translate to a timer, but Google might fix it for me. So it might be like 10:39 or something. So we can always do that depending on what Google translates it into later. We will definitely do that. All right, so if you guys are all set, we'll go ahead and get going. Happy sprinting. All right. How did everyone do for that one? The second to last sprint. I finally finished chapter 9. Woo! So now I am going back and deleting everything that I crossed out so that when I go through it and read it again, when I'm going through for draft 3, I don't have to read past all the things I ex-nayed. So I am really, really excited about this. This was a kind of defining chapter for the story. So I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the story of Hades and Persephone, or at least the one that they're most well known for is the Changing of Seasons story. If you guys are familiar with that, at one point in the story, and it varies depending on who's telling the myth, but there's a point in time in which Persephone eats pomegranate seeds when she is down in the underworld. And the way that it works in mythology, and in a lot of different mythologies for some reason, is that if you eat the food from the underworld or hell or I forget what it's called in Japanese folklore, but if you eat the food, you are then trapped in that realm, or you are bound to it. Not necessarily trapped, but bound to it. And so the pomegranate seeds are how Persephone ends up having to stick around with Hades, but there's a lot of question as to whether Hades tricked her into eating it, or if he forced her into eating it, or if she did it on her own free will, or if she had some kind of, you know, moment where she's like, oh, I'm just hungry, and ate pomegranate seeds. But this was kind of so this was that like defining moment. I'm not going to say which version. I'm not going to say which version. But this is was the moment where she has eaten the seed. So now she's stuck in the underworld, which is always fun. Let me get my mouse working over here. Oh, thank you, Autumn. Thank you for popping back in. I'm really glad that you stop by when I do these. It makes me feel so much better. These are a little nerve-wracking. It's almost like doing a one-man show. It is kind of a one-man show. So thank you for saying hi and bye. Alice got 530 words. Whoa. That's crazy. Good job. Good job. You're building up to the second climax. Yeah, climaxes are so easy to write. It's just because it's like a flurry of, and then this happened, and we have to tell this now, you know, like your brain just gets so excited. So yeah, that's awesome. Aaliyah is saying goodbye. You're welcome. I'm so glad you were able to stop in and sprint with us. Ah, the pizza place. I hope they didn't mess up your order, because that's ground for suing. I hope they didn't give you the wrong pizza, seriously, though, because that's never fun to get someone else's pizza. But thank you so much. I'm glad you were able to get your words in and got to your 69,000. That is awesome. Oh, sorry, my phone's in my pocket and it's like poking into my hip. All right, so if you guys are ready, we can do just one more quick sprint. And Alice, I'm gonna see how, let's just pull it up like that. I'm gonna see how 9.99 translates. 10.39. Oh, I was right. I guessed it right. That is so funny. That was a total guess, and I failed math all the time. Who knew? Alrighty, so we'll go ahead and do Alice's translation of 9.99, which is 10.39. And before I forget, because this is going to be our final sprint, I have my little banner. I keep forgetting that I have a banner for the first sprint too. I'm just so excited to get started, and I'm like, well, we're going for it. So I don't know why I sounded like Bill Engvall there for a second. If you guys know who Bill Engvall is, sound off, because I don't think a lot of people do at this point. Alrighty. Well, if you guys are ready, we're going to go ahead and just jump into our last sprint, and then we'll wrap it up, and then we'll be done for the day. And I know that there's a whole nother slew of sprints happening today. I'm not sure on what channels. I wish I did, because then I would tell you to go over there if you're still writing. But there's a lot of people who are sprinting today because it is the last day of camp. So no matter where you are, if you still have the urge to sprint after this, I guarantee you can just look up live streams and a lot will come up. So I wish I knew specifics though, so I could promote those people a little bit more. But we're gonna do our sprint, and let me go ahead and get this full screen. So 10:39, and we are off. Awesome. So that was, ooh, my back, our final sprint. And I'll go ahead and stop sharing that. So how did everyone do for the last sprint of the day? Where was I in here? I am just adding a few little things to this chapter. Okay, I think that's all I'm adding. It's just the end, rest of that sentence. Everything else is good. Excuse me, I don't know why I'm burping so much. So my total word count, and I'm gonna have to write this down in my little chapter tracker. Let's see. I guess I should say my new word count for chapter 9 is 3,022 words, which is crazy. It's actually my shortest chapter so far. That's interesting because this is an important chapter. I actually thought it would have been longer. But my goal is to have every chapter in draft 2 be either 3,000 or more words. Just because I felt like before my chapters were too short and didn't have really a whole heck of a lot going in them. It was very much like a we're here, now we're here, now we're here, now we're here kind of thing. And so I want to fix that. Glasses are off. This is getting serious. Oops. There we go. Alrighty. So saw that Alice posted this. So there are 2 10Ks going on today, and Cachet has one. Okay, so Cachet Warren, on her channel, she has a 10K. So definitely go over there if you are still wanting to do the sprints. Do sprints. And just, write with a bunch of other people. 353 brought you to the 5K mark. That's awesome. 5K for the day. That's so cool. Good job, Alice. That is really neat. I'm so glad. That is awesome. Well, I am done with chapter 9. And now I'm on, now I'm going to go get some lunch because I'm starving. But then after lunch, I'm probably going to go on to chapter 10 and get that started. And yeah, so today has been a very good sprinting day. I hope that today was a good writing day just for everybody, and you guys had a lot of fun writing and talking about sports and American football and history. All sorts of stuff. I really do appreciate you guys clicking on this and working with me and sticking around. It's a lot of fun to talk to you guys, to get to know y'all, and I have a lot of fun with these, and hopefully you guys have a lot of fun with these. So congratulations to all for finishing camp, whether that's your own goal or you've just accepted that you've reached what you can. You still made it through camp. So major congratulations to you guys. Hopefully when NaNoWriMo comes around, we'll have more of these because these are fun. And I'll still be doing live streams throughout August and into the fall and things like that. My next live stream is actually next Friday, which I keep forgetting is my birthday. So I will be doing birthday sprints. So that will be Friday, August 7th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then on August 9th, I am doing a writing sprint with my good friends Autumn Ashley, Helene Foy, and Zara Hoffman. And that will be on Zara's channel. And then I am doing a live stream with Helene later that week. So those are all the live streams that are coming up as of right now. And I'm just excited to keep writing and keep working on this and keep working with you guys and talking to you guys. And, you know, it's fun. It's just nice to hang out with y'all and to write with people. So thank you all so much for writing with me. And I will see you guys next Friday for those birthdays, friends. God, I keep forgetting it's going to be a birthday next week. Ay, I'm getting old. All right. Y'all have a great rest of your day and good luck with your writing. And again, congratulations on camp and finishing camp. You guys did awesome. You killed it. And I'm so proud of y'all for reaching your goals. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.